All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a huge question for pretty much any big, successful business out there. How do you get all the benefits of the cloud without having to throw away the custom-built processes that got you where you are today? We're going to look at a solution that's designed to do exactly that. And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? For years, you've been building up your business, creating these very specific ways of working. I mean, that's your secret sauce. But then you have the cloud, promising all this incredible speed and constant innovation. So how do you have your cake and eat it too? How do you get the best of both worlds? That's the puzzle we're going to solve today. Well, here's the answer we're exploring. SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. Now, if there's one phrase to remember, it's tailored to fit. This is the opposite of a rigid one-size-fits-all solution. The whole idea is that it's built to wrap around your business, not force your business to cram itself into a box. It lets you make the move to the cloud on your own terms. So, what's under the hood? What really makes this work? Well, it comes down to a few key things. First off, you're in the driver's seat. You set the pace. Second, you get total freedom to customize, to build out the system to match your specific needs. It's also got an eye on the future, with things like AI baked right in. Plus, it gives your own people the tools to easily build new things. And the best part? You're not starting from scratch. It's all built on top of this huge library of proven business processes. Okay, so you're probably wondering, is this for me? Well, the sweet spot is for those mid-sized to large companies. You know, if your business has really specific industry needs, maybe heavy regulations, or if you've spent years perfecting custom processes that nobody else has, this is basically built for you. All right, to really get how all this is even possible, we've got to talk about the most important idea behind the whole thing. It's a philosophy called Clean Core. And it is laser-focused on one single goal, letting you innovate without blowing everything up. This right here, this tells the whole story. You've got the old way, where customizing your system meant diving into the core code, creating this tangled mess that made every upgrade a nightmare. You were basically locked out of getting new features. The clean core way? Totally different. You keep the standard system pristine, or clean, and then you build your unique customizations on the side as separate, cloud-friendly extensions. It means upgrades are simple and you always have access to the latest and greatest. And honestly, this is the perfect analogy. It is just like your smartphone. You don't mess with the phone's basic operating system, right? You leave that alone so you can get all the security updates and new features from Apple or Google. And then all the stuff that makes the phone yours, your banking, your games, your social media, you add those as apps. It's the exact same idea, just applied to a massive enterprise system. So, the clean core philosophy sounds great in theory. But how do you actually do it? How do you make it happen in the real world? Well, that's where the Rise with SAP methodology comes in. Think of it as the practical, step-by-step roadmap that guides you on the path to that clean core. Let's quickly break this down. This isn't some chaotic project. It's a super structured 5-step process. You start by getting everyone, your team, your partners on the same page. You get an expert guide to help you. Then along the way, you have what are called Q gates. Just think of them as quality checkpoints to make sure everything is healthy and on track. And you finish up with reports and a runbook to measure how you're doing against your goals. The whole point is to make the journey predictable and safe. Okay, so we've covered the philosophy and the methodology. That's the how. Now let's get to the fun part, the what. What does this system actually do for you day in and day out? How does it run the nuts and bolts of your business? We can think about it as two big stories that every business tells. The first one is the money story. This is the financial engine of your company. It covers procure to pay, which is basically just buying all the stuff your business needs. It handles order to cash. That's everything from a customer placing an order to you getting paid. And finally, record to report. That's closing the books, doing your taxes, planning, all that critical financial stuff. Then you've got the other side of the coin, the product story. This is for any company that actually designs, makes, or moves physical things. It covers that whole journey, from the initial spark of an idea all the way to a full-fledged product design. It runs the factory floor with manufacturing and quality control. And then, of course, it manages the entire supply chain, warehousing, shipping, to get that product into your customers' hands. Now, here is the really crucial part. Those money and product stories, they happen in every company. But the way a bank tells that story is completely different from how a car company does. And this is where the system's deep, built-in industry knowledge really starts to shine. Let's just run through a few examples. For a sector like energy and natural resources, you're talking about specific tools to manage things like oil exploration, utility grids, and complex mining operations. Or how about financial services? The system is built for the super-regulated worlds of banking and insurance, knowing how to handle things like complex financial products and compliance. Then you have consumer industries. This covers everything from the crazy fast world of retail and fashion supply chains to the incredibly strict demands of life sciences. And for what we call discrete industries, it can run some of the most complex operations on the planet, like assembly lines for cars, high-tech gadgets, and even aerospace. It's not just for companies that make things either. For service industries, it can manage massive projects for consulting firms, digital content for media companies, you name it. And finally, even the public sector. There are specialized versions for healthcare, for universities, and for defense and security organizations. I mean, as you can see, the coverage is just incredibly deep and wide. So when you boil it all down, what are we really talking about? It's about getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the raw power, the depth, and the custom-tailored fit of a traditional system, but with all the speed, the agility, and the constant innovation that you can only get from the cloud. And that brings us full circle, right back to that first question. Every business has something that makes it special, a unique mission. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: is your core technology a launchpad for what makes you unique, or is it an anchor holding you back? So